Still trying to figure out like the best like composition setup for this, because I don't want my reflection to be in the video, but I also don't care. Hello, welcome back to another video. I feel like this is weird because for like a full week straight, I was uploading a video every day and then I didn't upload anything for a week. I probably should have just like spaced it out better and done it every second day, but so yeah, I'm back in Australia finally, and I've just been running around like crazy trying to organize things before Christmas. But I wanted to make one more video relating back to Singapore because I spent a lot of time there. Well, I mean, a lot of time. I lived there for a year. I feel like I owe like one more big video about Singapore. I know there's like a million videos of these kinds of things, so that's why I've kind of tried to make it more of a, these are the best things to do if you're on a budget in Singapore. Now, I already know people are gonna be like, oh, Hannah, these recommendations are really obvious. Of course you'd go to Marina Bay Sands, but like, just okay. The number one thing that I like to do in Singapore is go to Gardens by the Bay. I know, it's obvious. Yes, it's very cliche. Of course you'd go to Gardens by the Bay. Everyone does. I personally really love it because it's a different kind of like garden. It's not just for people that like gardens, because a lot of it's man-made. So they've got these like mechanical trees in the center and they're really, really beautiful. And they've done it in a very different way to many other like garden areas I've seen around the world. So I really enjoy it. There's lots of things to do around that whole Marina Bay area. Like, so there's Gardens by the Bay, there's the Flower Dome and the Cloud Forest. And just the area is really quiet and nice in itself. And it's so big as well. So even if it's quite crowded that day, there's still like so much room to breathe because it's just so massive. Of course, there's also ArtScience Museum. When I was there, the ArtScience Museum had, I think it's called like Beyond Tomorrow. No, not that one. Something to do with space and the future, I think. And they had this whole room just covered, like just fairy lights everywhere, and they all interact with iPad display. And it was just really, really cool. And there's all sorts of things within that, the ArtScience Museum. And you wouldn't normally think that like that's what you should do, but it's really, really good. I think it's about $12 for that one. The main negative, I guess you could take away from it, is that it's very touristy and can be crowded sometimes. And of course, it's not natural beauty because it's all man-made and stuff like that. But I mean, whatever, it's really beautiful. So I quite liked it. Next on my list, which is also in that area, is of course Marina Bay Sands. Now, I'm not saying you should stay at Marina Bay Sands if you're on a budget especially, but if you want to go up and just see the view and see what it's like, you can go to the observation deck, which I've never actually done. You can already go to the top, but you don't have to pay an entrance fee. If you go like inside the tower, I think it's the center tower, there's an elevator that goes all the way up, and you can go, there's a cafe at the top, and you can go up there and enjoy the view from the top, all for the cost of whatever is cheapest on the menu. I think you can get like a can of Coke for like $6, $5, something like that. You can enjoy your time there without being surrounded by so many other tourists. It's a lot nicer way to see the view from the top. The negative is that you can't actually, well, you can see the pool view from there, but it's a little bit further away because the restaurant's kind of like at the back of that thing, you know what I'm talking about. But you get an excellent view of behind it, which is the Gardens by the Bay and the actual bay, like Marina Bay itself. So yeah, I think the view is beautiful even from the cafe, and you can still take stunning photos from up there. So I would highly recommend that. Next on my list, which I know I've kind of already mentioned it before, and that's the Cloud Dome. And yes, I know the top 3 things on my list are all in the same area, but bear with me. I really, really love the Cloud Forest? I think it's Cloud Forest. So there's like 2 giant domes basically right next to Gardens by the Bay. There's about $12 or $15 entry per one, or I think you can go to both of them for like 25 or something like that. But in my opinion, if I was just to go there and take some friends there, I'd only go to the Cloud Forest because it's absolutely stunning. There's an indoor waterfall and it's like the highest one in the world or something like that. I don't think there's like too many indoor waterfalls to really compare it to, but anyway, they've done an excellent job of the design of everything. Literally every angle you can turn to, you can take an amazing photo. And if you want an extra tip, definitely go in the afternoon, evening. So when the sun starts to go down, they turn on these like the misters. Fires. So they turn on the mist, which is like just to water the plants basically, and it's so pretty. So there's 2 domes. In my opinion, the cloud forest is like 10 times better than the flower dome. Flower dome's really pretty, but it's kind of just like many other flower domes, I guess, that you could see. So if you only wanted to go to one of them, save your money a bit, definitely go to the cloud forest. It's magical. The negative, I guess, is that it's very, very crowded because everybody wants their Instagram shot, especially next to the waterfall. So you may have to wait a couple of minutes. Next one on my list is eat at a hawker center. I know, so when I first came to Singapore, I thought the hawker centers were just kind of dirty street food, local food. I thought I was gonna get sick from it, but it's absolutely not true. I've mentioned this in a video in the past. They've got hygiene ratings. So it's a big like A4 piece of paper. So there's like A, B, C, D. I think it goes up to D. A is like obviously the best hygiene. You will never get sick from that. That's fine. And then D is like, yeah, probably don't eat that. It's great for tourists, definitely, if you don't know what's good or what's hygienic. So just pay attention to the hygiene rating. And if it's like A or B, then it's gonna be completely fine for you. It's a very like local thing to do as well. So it's not like touristy wherever you go. You might be the only white people there. I guess if you're a white person, oh, that's racist. It's very, very cheap. You can get meals for about like $5, maybe $6 maximum. Usually it depends where you go. The ones that are outside are usually not air conditioned, but actually it's not too fine. It's very doable. The next one on my list is Haji Lane and its surroundings. So Haji Lane is like, it's a really cool bar, cafe kind of district. In the daytime, there's like lots of like cute cafes you can go to, and there's like really awesome like artwork and murals on the wall. And there's also a mosque. I'm not sure, I can't remember the name of it, but that's right near Arab Street. So beautiful, and you can just see like this incredible view right down the center. I think when most people think of Singapore, you just think of Chinese kind of Asian influence. You don't often think of like Arab kind of influence, and it's really, really beautiful that side. So I guess the negative to this could be if you're not like a big drinking person, maybe don't go there at nighttime because it's like a bar club-ish kind of area. I guess, not really. I don't know, I don't really drink, to be honest. I don't go there very much at nighttime. The next one on my list is Tanjong Beach on Sentosa Island. So basically Sentosa Island, pretty sure it's a man-made island, the whole thing, and it was made because they wanted to build a casino, and then the government was like, if you want to build a casino, you have to provide entertainment. So then they built the casino, and they built this island around the casino basically. So it's like it's called Resorts World Sentosa. So there's a whole bunch of resorts there. So they've got Universal Studios there. There's a bunch of like very, very touristy things there. Because it's a tourist area, it can be very expensive, but that doesn't mean that you have to spend lots of money to go there. So when you have to go to Harbourfront MRT stop. When I first went, I thought that you had to catch the monorail over, which is like $4 one way. Actually, you don't need to catch the monorail. You can just walk across the boardwalk. It's literally like a 10-minute walk. It's not bad at all, and it's quite pretty. And then on that side, they've just got nice beaches. But the negative of that is that it's super touristy and it can be expensive if you eat there. But if you go to Wave House on Wednesdays, this is something me and my friends would often do. They've got, I don't know why they call it 1 for 1 in Singapore, because for me, that's just like you pay for one and you get one. But I think what they mean is like 2 for 1. So you pay for one, like whatever it is, like a meal, a burger, a drink, and you get 2 of them. So you can split it with your friends and you'll end up like eating really, really cheaply. Number 7 on my list is Chinatown and Bugis area. I really, really, really like Chinatown, Bugis area. There's so much stuff to see. They've got like all of the coolest kind of cafes and restaurants. And the best part is that Bugis, which is like this like indoor market, it's so cheap. Everything there is so cheap. I got my shorts from Bloopers. I think it's like four stories high or something crazy. After a while, they kind of get to be like the same. And then Chinatown itself has, of course, the whole like Chinese atmosphere, and Chinese New Year looks really cool there. So the negative is that it's very, very, very crowded, especially in the market. So maybe don't go there on a weekend. The last thing on my list is for people that enjoy like actual, like real nature, go to either the McRitchie Reservoir or the, Mount Faber Peak. I quite like McRitchie Reservoir. It's got a great atmosphere and there's usually like no one there. I think there's like 1 or 2 cafes there. But the negative of that is that it's quite far away. It's like very north, away from like the main kinds of things. So if you're only in Singapore for a couple of days, go to Mount Faber. You can catch the cable car from Harbourfront to there. I feel like it's like $20 though. So you don't have to catch the cable car, but you can go to the Mount Faber Bistro, I think. It's a restaurant up there. There's a beautiful view of that kind of Harbourfront kind of area, and you can enjoy like lunch up there. It's kind of touristy prices, so but you don't have to eat up there if you don't want to. From there you can hike like all the way along Mount Faber. It'll take you a couple of hours basically to walk all the way through. The negatives is that you're gonna sweat so much because it's Singapore and it's very humid. You're just gonna sweat. But it's nice, it's worth it. So that's my list of my top 8 things to see in Singapore if you're only there for a couple of days and if you're on a bit of a budget. I know everyone's gonna be like really mad that I only suggested like the main things to do, but I'll have you know that I did not recommend Merlion, Singapore Flyer or Orchard Road. So some of these things are quite touristy. Obviously the first 3 that I mentioned are very touristy, but in my opinion, they're touristy for a reason. I hope that you enjoyed this video and I hope that you enjoy your stay in Singapore because I really, really enjoyed my year living there. I think Singapore is a really beautiful city and country and state and whatever else it is. It wasn't always my favorite place to live and I got frustrated at times, as you always do, but overall I had a really wonderful experience living in Singapore. So if I met you, thank you for coming to say hi. But if I haven't met you or if you're Singaporean, thank you so much for having me in your country for the past year. I don't think that I'll be back in Singapore, at least for a while. So that's why I just wanted to make this one last video for all of you to say thank you. Thank you so much for having me. So if you like this list, if it helped you in any way, give it a thumbs up. And if you want to see more stuff like this, maybe not more Singapore stuff like this because this will be my last one, but more kind of like expat living, traveling, performing kinds of videos, hit the subscribe button because I'd love to see you around here a bit more. Yeah, let me know in the comments below if you disagree, agree, or if you've got any other recommendations for other travelers coming to Singapore on a budget. And yes, I will see you next time. Bye. Fluff, 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 fluff. Crap is that?
Work that up, dude.
It's Julian! Oh, hello, Julian! He actually looks like Julian! Oh my god.
That's gonna have a heart attack. Banana hang out too much.
How was Bingsu? Mum? Oh, sorry. I don't know what bingsu is. Bingsu is the dessert that we just ate.
Oh, that was really yummy. Bingsu. Right.
Oh, Dad got himself a fidget spinner.
They're a hot item at the moment.
Oh, they are a hot item. Oh, that's a neat feature. Look at the size of them.
Welcome back, brothers and sisters.
Oh, thank you.
Movie.
No time to play. Half an hour show. Come on, let's go. Still, no time to play around. Inside. Come on, still almost there. In. What are you doing? This is gonna take a while.
You know what this tastes like? An Oreo. Amazing!
Edge on it, so it's very easy. Maybe in our world here, could live.
Need to get my universal globe selfie. Just a one-day ticket, please.
Okay, just for one will be at $76.
Outrageous.
Please do stand up and become an elf like.
Oh, I'd love to sign up to become an elf. You know, I was an elf once. Are you excited to watch Search for a Christmas Star?
No. So fun.
Did you throw it and then hit them?
Can't do 2 things at once.
Ooh. Yes, girl. What bronzer you use?
Yeah, this is unicorn vomit.
Nice.
It's a new color from MAC.